Ah, BioWare. Canada's RPG sweetheart. You might remember them from way back with the 1996 release of Shattered Steel, or perhaps when they fully stepped into the RPG spectrum with their work on Baldur's Gate in 1998, or 2000 for those in North America. For others, when you hear BioWare, maybe your first thoughts might land on the more recent Anthem, or Mass Effect Andromeda. Regardless of what you remember them by, we're heading back to my own personal golden era of BioWare, from 2007 to the now revitalized Mass Effect of 2021. As a longtime fan, let's just see how I feel about this game after nearly 14 years of my original playthrough. That sounds weird to say thinking about how much time has passed, but let's hop aboard the Normandy and crush some nostalgia. The first thing I want to check on is how good this touch-up looks. As Normandy shuttles off to the mass relay, it plays a short backstory that you chose, giving you a quick solid precursor to follow and allows you to sink your feet into your character's shoes. The planets and ships look damn clean, as the character models on the other hand tend to show their age a bit more, but it's a remaster so I'm not faulting it for that. However, as BioWare mentioned, they weren't changing too much from the original, but I gotta say the mouth movements are what got me. Every time someone was talking with a full headshot, I found myself constantly eyeballing the mouth just to see how it was moving along with what they were saying, though that's just me. I like looking around at the details, being impressed at what people can do with the game, especially to see how far games have come in the last 14 years, as this kind of stuff was groundbreaking with what they were doing for the time. But on the other hand, I do love it when a game has some jank, and oh god, Mass Effect, I would have to say, probably had a perfect amount of jank.
Not now, Commander. Take out those hostiles. Nice to see so many humans working for CSEC.
How many times did you find yourself in a firefight when all of a sudden the enemy's ragdoll physics just start wigging out, or having somebody in your scope and all of a sudden they pull a Houdini on you? For some people, this might take them out of the immersion, but it only adds comedic value for me. I don't mind these kind of things. The only trouble I had with an enemy was a drone that somehow got stuck inside of a cliff, but I still managed to find a workaround to kill it. However, I did encounter a game crash on Vermeer when talking to Rana Thanoptis, the Asari neurospecialist you meet when infiltrating Saren's base, and with a game that'll set you back to the last mission checkpoint, that kind of stuff can be a bit frustrating, so make sure to save when you can just in case, as a friend of mine had multiple crashes on Zeus Hope. I was able to thankfully avoid another situation with the Asari by attempting to skip the dialogue spot that I had crashed at previously. Either it was just a one-time thing, or I just skipped it. I'm not sure. I'm just glad I didn't go through what my friend encountered. Speaking of friends, let's take a look at the story and our party members. I can't tell you just how hard I fell back into the lore of Mass Effect. From the very get-go, it revs up your interest with this action-style scene of Shepard walking through the Normandy as it's zooming around space. The music pumping it up with the orchestral swings as Joker, who's voiced by Seth Green, is giving updates throughout the process of getting to the mass relay, and in cinematic movie fashion, it slows down, easing you into the continued story.
Internal emissions sync engaged. All systems online. Drift, just under 1500K.
To save time, the gist of the story is honestly one of my favorites. We're thrusted into the future of humanity living side by side with other species that are far older than us in a diplomatic fashion. No longer is it just Earth and human problems, rather it being a galactic neighborhood with a galactic-sized plot for the story of our impending doom with cosmic horrors known as the Reapers. This is also humanity's second chance to be seen as equals to the older races, with your character being the second nominated as the first human Spectre, a class of elites who work in secrecy to keep the galaxy safe. Unfortunately, the top Spectre, Saren, has laid out a scheme to ensure we fail our trial mission, as not only does Saren at this point detest humans, he has much bigger secrets to keep as he's unknowingly gone rogue to the others.
Spectre, I demand action! You don't get to make demands of a council, Ambassador.
Citadel Security is investigating your charges against Saren. We will discuss the CSEC findings at the hearing, not before.
Fortunately for the plot's sake, we're actually able to find some evidence against Saren, while simultaneously gathering our ragtag team and becoming the first human Spectre, while we set off to learn and stop Saren's overall plans. Following Shepard, our team is comprised of two other humans, Caden Alenko and Ashley Williams, along with Erdnot Rex, a powerful Krogan whose species are basically the Spartans of this universe. There's the sharpshooter Turian, Garrus Vakarian, which also became a fan favorite for many. The nomadic Quarian, Tali-Zora Narrea, whose people also created the dangerous Geth that you fight along the way. And lastly, we have the Asari scientist Liara T'Soni, who's been studying the extinct Prothean civilization for the last 50 years, and don't let her appearance fool you, she's 106 years old, but for an Asari, that's barely an adult. All of whom join your team as they have something personal to gain with joining in the fight against Saren and learning the overall plot. Not only does your team bond well over your goals, you're all that stands in the way of Saren unleashing mass extinction with the Reapers, as none of the other Spectres fully believe your claims. The first game was set up so damn well with its action sci-fi story, while only being bolstered even more with fleshing out the other species, giving not only your squad members their own stories, but giving their individual race a history within the galaxy, really making it more lived in with the lore from the outer reaches of the Milky Way. Mission to mission, I couldn't stop playing, and I accidentally beat it a lot faster than I had intended. Main missions are simple branch outs of going on to this one mission that turns into 3 more or so, and once you complete those, it sews it back up into the main story. The choices you're given feel like you actually have some weight to them. That can sometimes lead you back and forth depending on how you're feeling towards the situation, or if you're trying for a Paragon or Renegade run. Though at other points, it does feel like you have a big decision to make, but either way, nothing much changes depending on how invested you are into whatever that decision is. I've also come to notice while I ran through my own Paragon run, that I've never really had to worry on tough decisions, as using the Paragon option was basically a cheat code, a free pass by killing them with kindness, being able to get out of a tough spot with ease.
Some part of you must still realize this is wrong. You can fight this.
Maybe you're right. Maybe there is still a chance for...
First-time players may get lost in larger areas, like the sprawling Citadel, if they're not paying attention on what they're supposed to be doing or who to talk to. Load times can be a few seconds longer than you're used to these days, but still quick for its time, including the pleasant load screens, which are spots in the game that you can see as well. The mechanics are older, but also still feel just fine. Through and through, Mass Effect is a magnificent display of world building and storytelling from the first action sequence to the final fight with your first deadly Reaper encounter, ending this game as a very powerful overall story hook that kept people hopeful and eager for the sequel, which I'm playing through right now, so look forward to that review in the near future. With all that being said, along with my own personal thoughts and enjoyment of the game, even with that nasty crash that I encountered, the pros far outweighed any negatives that I had on this reunited experience, especially once the end credits song M4 Part 2 kicked in, just blasting me with the forgotten nostalgia, leading me to give my first game review a solid 4 out of 5. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think of this remaster down in the comments below. And as always, I hope you had a great day, or night.